Evet, bugün sizlerle de beraber
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Stanley
Stanley
Paraguay.
worked for a company in a big
Neydi
building
lan,
where
doğrusu
he was
hatırlamıyorum.
employee number
Altta
427.
zaten yazıları var
Employee
İngilizce'nin.
number 427's
Türkçe
job
alt
was
yazılı.
simple. He sat at
Dublaj
his
da
desk
vardı.
in room 427
Yama indirmek
and he
istemedim.
pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Helal olsun Stanley. Ben açıkçası sabredemezdim ama.
Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Haydi bakalım.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Toplantı odası neresi lan? Buralarda bir şey yok.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes.
Oh, ne rahatlatıcı bir oda lan.
Worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here.
Bir şeyler içebiliyor muyum? Hayır, içemiyormuşum. Şunu alsam. Neyse.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Hadi bakalım.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you.
Ne diyorsa tersini mi yapsak ya?
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside, to let her back into your life.
Kim lan?
She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Nasıl ya?
I can't believe I was so mistaken.
Oğlum Stanley değil miyim ben?
Make correct and incorrect choices, and to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you've made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely.
Ne dediysen tersini yaptım her şeyin. Daha ne kadar çuvallayabilirim.
Basic safety protocol for real world decision making, or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice.
Seçimler.
Best part of being a real person.
Onun alt yazısı niye yok? Ses. Tüm yazılar. Hiçbir değil. Sadece alt yazı. Tüm yazılar. Bayağı kaçırdık şu anda. İlerliyormuş orada.
In this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought.
Practice. Hadi.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Amma uzattın.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of a narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Hadi gidelim. Hayır. Hayır ya. Abi şuraya atlayacaktım ya. Bak şu an çok daha çok merak ettim şurayı. Ne var o odada? Allah belanı versin. Ya. Oh, rahatlama odası ya.
You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Soldan gidelim mi lan? Hadi dinleyelim bu sefer.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would.
Tamam.
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Tamam.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tamam hadi soldan gidelim. Evet, burada da kimse yok. İnsan yok. Konuşma fazla cevaplar bulmuyor. Tamam. Devam.
Hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath.
Oha, biz mi söyleyeceğiz? Neydi?
Night Shark 115.
Night Shark 115.
Do you copy? Give me a sign.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115.
Ben de öyle diyorum.
He spoke it into the receiver.
Tamam.
Right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. Abi çok saçmalık, ben geri gidiyorum.
I'm sorry, is there a problem?
Evet, var.
You didn't mishear me, did you?
Duydum.
Konuşturmuyorsun ki. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Yapmamı mı bekliyorsun?
Okay, fine. You're not gonna do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have
Gidebilirdim, gitmedim.
Gitmedim. Whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way?
Sen ne bok yapıyorsun lan?
Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward.
Böyle kesilir sesin.
Just behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
Çok sinirlendim şu anda.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Al sana left.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late. Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special?
Sinirlendirmeseydin beni, nasıl çıkacağım oradan?
Like so much garbage. It's worthless. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
Hayır.
I have to.
Ne oluyor lan?
I'm here.
Bayağı oyunu kapadın ha şu an.
Here in this pile of rubbish with you who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground.
Ben hiçbir şey yapmadım. Hayır.
What? Did you think that would be funny?
Evet.
You just had to see. Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it.
Aynen.
That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door.
Dış ses bulduk. Yo, biz dış sesmiş şu anda.
Stanley? Hello? Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
And mi?
I need you to walk.
Böyle mi bitiyor? Yo, imkanı yok böyle bir şey. Hayır, zaten birden çok sonu var bu oyunun.
Is everything alright? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose.
Choose.
Do something.
Do something.
Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Ne oldu lan? Boşalttı. Tamam, şimdi o merak ettiğimiz yere gelelim. Veya dediklerini mi yapsak? Tamam, daha var zamanımız ya. Hatta ulan isterse 1 saat olsun ya, ne olacak? Speedrun çabuk. Hayır, sus.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room.
Tamam.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult. But the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Hadi lan ilerleyelim kırmızıdan.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Yıldızlar gitti. Göremiyorum yıldızları. Yoksa ben de biraz mutlu Bura nere lan?
No, wait. Where are you
Tamam, bir
going?
yere gitmiyorum.
Right. Where were we?
Nerede kaldık? Ama canım benim, gitmem gerekiyor ya.
Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
Bu korku oyunu değil mi?
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Hadi geri dönelim.
No! Oh, thank God you lived. No, no, no. What are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see that we can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you? No, perhaps not. My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along.
Evet, çok fazla şey
Yes, that was
istedim.
too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back. Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were.
An meselesiydi. Soldan gidelim hadi.
When Stanley came to a set of two open
Girdim.
doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ne diyorsa o.
Yet there was not a single person here.
Buraları yaptık değil mi? Yanlış
Feeling a
hatırlamıyorsam.
wave of
Evet, yaptık
disbelief,
buraları.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Aşağı inmeyeceğim. Hadi bakalım. Geldik ofise. Şifreyi biliyorum. 2845.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked
Ne oluyor lan?
forward into the opened passageway.
Ama ben çalmak istiyorum ki. Nereye gidiyoruz acaba? Ah, belim ağrıdı. Hadi bakalım. Devam. 100 tane sonu var oyunun ya.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him?
Hadi indir beni ha. Çok korkutucu speedrun. Shift'li hızlı koşmuyor.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ölüyoruz burada. Basıyorum.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ha.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley been under someone's control?
Şu kimin abi?
Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Evet.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Kırmızı düğmeye basarak. Basamıyorum. Çok heveslenmiştim o kırmızı butona basmayı. System power.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Her şeye son vermem gerekiyor. Kapa.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, He realized
Oğlum
none of
bulut
this
kuş
mattered to
aç.
him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be.
Dağ, taş, ağ.
And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Atamıyorum.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Hold on, beat the game. Oh, bir son daha bitirdik. O zaman bir tane daha. Son mu olsun? Hayır, 2 tane daha yapalım. Bu sefer ne yapalım biliyor musunuz? Adı neydi onun? Telefon açalım.
Stanley came to a set of two open. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Hop fake.
Stanley was so bad at following
Hadi aşağı atlayalım mı?
incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Atlamayalım. O telefonu açmak istiyorum. Eşimle konuşmak istiyorum çünkü.
I'm not your enemy, really I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten.
Şu kapı açılıyor mudur?
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Yine korktum bak ya.
That's her, Stanley.
Açıyorum.
You need to be the one to do this.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Seni var ya çok kötü yaparım.
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley.
Gerçek hayatta da böyle yani değişen bir şey olmadı ama.
Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Karıcığım gel.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Ne? Günaydın işçi. Klavye tarafı. Yok. Altı dışındaki bütün harfleri ekleyip de rakamları bastım ama. Aşkım niye böyle bir şey yaptın? Aç da geçeyim ya. Bir öpsem bari. Yemek mikrodalga.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Ama yeter.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations.
Hayır.
Down one path lay an
Düşündüğüm şey olmayacak değil mi?
monitors
Gel bir öpeyim bari.
controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy.
Bu burada
So in
değildi.
his head, he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer.
Abi bizim ofise dönüşüyor burası. Buradan da şeye gideceğiz işte ya. Sevgilim gitti.
Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this.
Tek
That
attım
in
lan
this
yanlışlıkla.
world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Okay.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey.
Açta ilerleyek, başka bir sona geçecek. Son. Ben son.
Perhaps. Well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Lütfen öl. Neden böyle bir şey dedim ki şimdi lütfen öl diye.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Gittik oraya.
Staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Burayı biliyorum, yapmam. Allah kahretsin ya. Aynı sona çıkacağım yine. Yeniden başla. Aynı sona çıkacaktık çünkü.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ne yaptın sen orada? Hatırla. O sonu nasıl getirdin?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oraya atladık değil mi?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that but in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Bunu hiç denemedim için.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oyun bozulacak oraya gidersek.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Hazır mısınız döngüye girmeye?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. He thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
Uçacağız. Yıldızlar gösterecek, sonra bakmışız ki delirmişiz.
This is all a dream.
Yani biz delirmişiz, bir kadın bizi bulacak falan filan, o yüzden yeniden başlatıyorum. Tamam. Şimdi o sonu nasıl yaptın hatırla Ege. Nasıl yaptım onu?
Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time.
Şurada turuncu bir kapı olması lazım abi. Sağdan.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yine sağdan gideceğim o zaman.
The lounge was grand, majestic. Perhaps, but eager to get back to
nereye çıkmıştık şeyde? Sağ tarafa doğru atlayınca. Hiç hatırlamıyorum ha. Keşke Twitch gibi chat olsa da.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you...
Hayır.
Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
İşte turuncu kapı.
Stanley, take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience.
1 mi 5 mi? 1 mi 5 mi?
Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
5, mükemmelsin.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
5.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Hadi bakalım.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Bir dakika lan belki.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective?
Yaparım. İşsiz adamım ben, yaparım. Ya geber, ben bu sesle oynamam ya. Bye bye.
You heartless bastard.
Sensin
Did you
piç.
do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter,
Bomba oyun yapmışsın, ben ne yapayım ya?
I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out.
Tamam, ben de bit.
It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
Can oyun senin oyundan kat ve kat daha iyi oldu. O kadar eminim ama.
Let's give it a shot.
Eminim demiştim.
Well, Stanley, is this any better?
Evet,
At
hadi.
last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley.
Mükemmel.
Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art.
Mükemmel, mükemmel.
Your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside.
Madenci arkadaşım ev yapmıştır.
Please step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand?
Mükemmel.
Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Zıplayamıyoruz hala. Burayı bir daha başlat. Yok, geçemezmişim zaten.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. You brought a light.
Ya oyuna yeni girdim. Işığı nereden bulayım? Bir yere götümden mi çıkarayım?
This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant.
Yeni oyun.
This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game. Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is. Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games. And I highly doubt you're any wiser for the...
Hayır. Müziğim. Ne yaptın? Aşağılık herif. Hiçbir şey görmüyorum. Düşüyorum. Buraya gelme. Nereye gitmem gerekiyor? Burayı sabah oynamıştım. Hiçbir şey gözükmüyordu. Ben de diyorum neden gözükmüyor oyunla alakalı dedim. Mersem değilmiş.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Bugünkü videomuzda bu kadardı. Stanley Parablay'ı oynadık. 5 tane mi 4 tane mi son falan yaptık. Yetti daha. Kendinize iyi bakın. Hoşça kalın. Bugün çünkü ikinci videomda bir de Poppy Playtime çektim. Poppy Playtime'da şöyle bir sıkıntı oldu. Ara sıra takılabiliyor. Çünkü aptal gibi şarjı sonradan taktım. Kulaklığı da sonradan açtığım için oyun bug'a girdi. Yani takılıyordu hep.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Ne lan?
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Bir dakika lan.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Bu ne? O neydi?
Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
1, 2, 3.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Benlik sıkıntı yok.
No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. 20 kez. 420. 420, 419, 416, 410. Ha burası.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Kaç dedi? 430 bir şey. Allah kahretsin. Unuttum. 430 430 428. Ulan ne dedi? 435 mi dedi? 436 435 430 ha 437.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
Nerede 15? Nerede ki? Oha 1 saat oldu. Kaç dedi? Allah kahretsin unuttum. 420 mi dedi? 415 dedi. 425. Hah, o şuradaydı. 417. Bir dakika lan, 417 orada değildik ya, oradaydı.
Now back to door number 437.
437. Lan kapatıyordum. Kapatmayı unuttum. Takıldım oyuna. 437 neresi? 437. 36, 37.
Let's see. How about you click on, well, I don't know, the copy machine. All right, back to room 417. I'm really feeling it now. I think we're getting somewhere.
O muydu lan? Nerede 417?
Okay, now go climb on employee 419's desk.
Tamam. Nasıl tırmanacağım? Aha.
Yes, this is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley. I like that. All right, let's keep it up. Go give me a few clicks on door 416.
416 pardon yanlış arıyorum.
We've almost got it. Now the copy machine, do that one again.
Lan çok zevk alıyorum şu anda oyundan.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 clicks on door 430. Yes! We did it! Oh, wow. That felt amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today.
Seni seviyorum.
Just think, only a few minutes ago, you believed an achievement was worth 5 little clicks. Really now, what were you thinking? Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his environment.
Şu bilgisayardaki şey neydi? Kapanmış. Hayır lan şuradaki bilgisayardaydı. Hah.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeter. Kendinize iyi bakın. Hoşça kalın. Bir sonraki videolar görüşmek üzere. Bay bay.